Hi, I'm Tim Crompton, the Director of Athletics at Weber State University, and I wanted to be the first to welcome you to campus for the beginning of the 2021 and 2022 school year. There are many amazing things you are about to experience as a student athlete here at Weber State. Among the many great things, and something that we pride ourselves on, is a strong commitment and culture to compliance with the NCAA, the Big Sky Conference, and Weber State rules. You are about to go through a process to learn some of those rules. For those returning to our program, this should be a great refresher on what those rules are. For those of you joining us for the first time, you will walk away from this experience with a much better understanding of what is expected of you as a student athlete at this institution.
What is that?
It's a microphone.
So you just like talk into it?
Yes, stop blowing on it.
Okay. This is pretty cool. So is this what you do with all your star student athletes?
No, just the weird ones.
What is that supposed to mean?
Okay, let's start. What's your name?
My name is Christopher Compliance. Stop laughing, it's not that funny.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, it's always been my dream to be an NCAA student athlete, and you probably heard of me. I'm kind of a big deal. I was a 3-sport star out of high school, a 5-star hockey recruit. I could have gone to Michigan, but I strained my left ear. A 5-star baseball recruit. Could have gone to Vandy, but they gave my scholarly to some Hall of Famer's son. And lastly, I was a 5-star pickleball recruit.
Pickleball, huh?
Yeah, pickleball. Pickleball's a lot harder than it looks, okay? I could have gone to Arizona State, but there was a coaching change.
You know that pickleball's not a college sport, and Weber State doesn't sponsor NCAA baseball or hockey, right?
Yeah, I realize that now, but I was already here and I enrolled and attended a week of class.
So what are your plans?
Well, I'm such a good athlete that I'm going to try out for every NCAA sport that Weber sponsors.
Every sport?
Yeah, every sport. And I'm going to make all of them.
What else are you gonna do?
Well, since I'm going to be on every team, I would like to be an expert on compliance. It is my last name, after all.
All right, Veronica. Tell me everything I should know about ethical conduct.
The NCAA and Weber State University require you to complete all of your academic work yourself. You may receive permissible help from tutors, but what is turned in must be your own work and effort. Failure to do this can result in a finding of academic misconduct and can affect your eligibility on the field or on the court. The most important of all the NCAA rules is the one of ethical conduct. The NCAA requires all of us who are associated with intercollegiate athletics to act with honesty, integrity, and sportsmanship at all times. This applies to behavior on the court, in fields of competition, as well as in our academic pursuits. As a student athlete, you are required to provide accurate and complete information that is relevant to an NCAA investigation if one occurs. Please uphold the highest standards of the NCAA and Weber State University when it comes to ethical conduct.
All right, Ryan. Teach me all about academic eligibility.
The NCAA requires that you meet established academic requirements to be eligible to compete in your sport. You have to be enrolled full-time, which is at least 12 credits for undergraduates and at least 9 credits for graduate students. Additionally, you must pass 6 degree applicable credits each semester, and you must pass 18 credits combined in the fall and spring semesters. Okay, it's me again. After your first year, you must pass 24 credits. Thereafter, you have to meet percentage of degree requirements, meaning that after your second year, at least 40% of your degree must be completed. After your third year, at least 60% of your degree must be completed. After your fourth year, at least 80% of your degree must be completed. And you also satisfy GPA requirements and remain in good standing. Members of the football team must also pass 9 degree applicable credits each fall semester. Make sure you speak with your academic advisor with questions you have about your academic eligibility. And if you want to make changes to your course schedule.
What did you learn about ethical conduct and academic eligibility?
My main takeaways were that I need to work hard academically, listen to the guidance of my academic advisors, and not to cheat on my homework.
Are you feeling confident for your upcoming track and field tryout?
Oh, super confident. I wanted to try out for this team first because there's so many different events. I'm going to try out for short distance, long distance, and shot put. I'm bound to make one of those events, right?
Hey, set, go. Ready, set, go. Scratch. 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 Are you sure? I'm sure. So did you make the track and field team?
No,
Not even for one event?
no. I thought I was really going to make it for shot put too.
Well, you scratched it on every throw.
All right, Dale. Teach me everything I should know about amateurism. Amateurism is one of the core pillars that makes the NCAA what it is. Amateurism rules state that student athletes cannot receive compensation for their athletic abilities. You are not eligible for participation in a sport if you have ever accepted pay or the promise of pay for competing in your sport, agreed either orally or in writing to compete in professional athletics in that sport, played on any professional athletics team, used your athletic skill for pay in any form in your sport, or entering into an agreement for current or future representation. Rules regarding agents must be followed by the student athletes as well as by your family members or friends. You will lose your eligibility if your relatives or friends accept money, transportation, lodging, entertainment, or other benefits from an agent. They can also compromise your eligibility by negotiating with agents on your behalf. Men's basketball now has its own rules dealing with agents in the NBA draft. Please talk with compliance if you have any questions. If you have a job, the NCAA requires that you are paid the going rate for your work, along with getting paid for work that is actually performed. The NCAA allows you to receive compensation for teaching your sport on a fee-for-lesson basis, provided that institutional facilities are not used, you do not advertise the availability of your services, you do not provide a playing lesson, you do not receive payment from someone other than the recipient or the recipient's family, and the appropriate compliance paperwork is completed.
So what were your main takeaways regarding amateurism?
I need to be paid the going rate for my job. Having an agent will end my eligibility, and I'm allowed to give lessons if I talk to compliance beforehand and fill out the proper paperwork.
Now that your hamstring has had time to heal, are you feeling confident about your upcoming tennis tryout?
Oh, super confident. It's just like pickleball, right?
Oh my gosh, this is nothing like pickleball.
So did you make the tennis team?
No, I guess my pickleball skills didn't translate very well.
All right, Will, teach me all about financial aid. Oh yeah, I heard that you play a little pickleball. Can you do this?
Athletic scholarships are generally one-year agreements. During the period of the award, a scholarship can be canceled or reduced only for the reasons stated on your scholarship. Those reasons include rendering yourself ineligible, violating team rules of the Student-Athlete Code of Conduct, and violating the Big Sky Conference's serious misconduct rule. As a student-athlete, you can receive aid from only permissible sources. Those sources include Weber State Athletics, Weber State academic and departmental scholarships, federal financial aid such as Pell Grants and student loans, aid from anyone who are naturally or legally dependent, such as parents or legal guardians, and permissible outside scholarships, provided that those awards meet NCAA rules. Also in the realm of financial aid is the NCAA Special Assistance Fund. This is money provided to each member institution to benefit student athletes. Weber State uses its SAF on SAC programming, emergencies and hardships like the cost for a flight to attend the funeral of a family member, academic services, summer school, 5th and 6th year aid, and graduate school placement exams. If you take the GMAT, GRE, LSAT, MCAT, or any other graduate school exam, we will reimburse the cost of one test one time during your student-athlete career. An award of athletic financial aid can be given only if you meet the conditions of the Big Sky Serious Misconduct Rule. You are not able to participate on a Weber State team or receive an athletic scholarship if you have been convicted of or pled guilty to or no contest to a felony or misdemeanor involving serious misconduct, or if you have been subject to official university or athletic department disciplinary action at any time during enrollment at any collegiate institution for serious misconduct. Serious misconduct may include any act of sexual violence, domestic violence, dating violence, stalking, sexual exploitation, or any assault that employs the use of a deadly weapon or that causes serious bodily injury.
What can you tell me about financial aid?
So my main takeaways on financial aid were that during the period of my award, my scholarship can be reduced or canceled only for the reasons stated on my scholarship. I can only receive aid from permissible sources. There is a student assistance fund that might pay for other things. And I need to meet the conditions of the Big Sky Serious Misconduct Policy to receive a scholarship.
How are you feeling about your upcoming football tryout?
Well, I'm feeling super confident. Especially, I'm going to try out to be a kicker, and anybody can kick. It shouldn't be too difficult, right?
That's definitely the wind. That's the wind. There's a lot of wind here today.
What about the football team? Did you make that?
No, I was certain I was going to make it as a kicker, but that wind, it was just too powerful.
That's fair. 0 mile/hour wind is pretty hard to kick through.
All right, Trevor. Teach me all about seasons of eligibility.
Student athletes have 5 calendar years and up to 4 seasons of competition in the sport. The 5-year clock starts when you first enroll as a full-time student at any college or university. The clock runs continuously until your 5-year eligibility period is completed. There are exceptions to this, such as serving an official church mission or active duty military service. It is important to note that, except in exhibition games and informal practice scrimmages, any amount of competition in a season triggers the use of one of your 4 seasons of competition, except in football. Participating on one play in one game counts the same as playing in every minute of every game for this rule. In football, student athletes can now participate in up to 4 games in a season without using a season of competition. Not competing at all in any contest means that you have redshirted. The 5-year rule allows for 1 redshirt season. Multiple seasons lost to circumstances outside of your control, such as 2 medical hardships or a forced redshirt in your first year and a later medical hardship, can qualify you for an extension of the 5-year eligibility period. A medical hardship, commonly known as a medical redshirt, occurs when you compete during a season, but then you become injured or ill to the point where you can no longer continue to play. We can apply for a medical hardship to restore that season of competition if you complete the following: suffered an incapacitating injury or illness, did not compete in more than 30% of your team's season, and did not compete past the halfway point of your team's season. What did you learn about your seasons of eligibility?
I learned that I have a 5-year clock to play 4 seasons of competition. And I can get that clock extended because of a mission or because of 2 circumstances outside of my control.
How are you feeling about your upcoming soccer tryout?
I'm pretty confident, to be honest. I realize that I might not be the best with my feet, so I'm sticking with my hands and I'm going to be trying out as a goalie. It shouldn't be too difficult, right?
So did you make the soccer team?
No, I didn't. I shouldn't have tried out to be a goalie. I should have tried out to be a striker. It would have been perfect. There was no wind in there.
Well, maybe if you work hard, you could make it next year as a striker.
All right, Derek, teach me all about drug testing.
As student athletes who are subject to both the NCAA and Weber State's drug testing programs, both the NCAA and Weber State have drug testing policies that must be followed if you want to maintain your eligibility to compete. You are required to show up for all drug tests. Failure to show up for a test is treated the same as a positive test. Penalty for a failed NCAA drug test is typically a loss of 1 year of your seasons of competition and a suspension from competition for at least 1 calendar year. Your athletic scholarship can be canceled or reduced if you fail an NCAA drug test. Failing a second NCAA drug test typically leaves you permanently ineligible in all sports. The NCAA banned drugs list is the same that is used by the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, except for glucocorticoids. Please be careful with what you put in your bodies at all times. Even drugs that you not normally think has a problem can lead to a positive test. For example, asthma and ADHD medications are considered banned substances without a valid prescription. It is also important to pay attention to what supplements you are taking. The supplement market is not strictly regulated, so make sure to contact your strength and conditioning staff before you begin to take your supplement.
What were your biggest takeaways regarding drug testing?
I will get severely penalized if I fail a drug test, and before I take anything, any substance, or anything new, I need to ask my strength and conditioning coach beforehand.
How are you feeling about your volleyball tryout later today?
I'll admit, I've never played volleyball before, but I'm confident. It doesn't look too hard. Anybody can do that, right?
Did you make the volleyball team?
No, I didn't. I kind of saw that one coming, to be honest.
Yeah, when you went to serve, I thought you were going to give yourself a concussion.
All right, Kayla. Teach me everything I need to know about outside competition.
During the academic year, except in limited circumstances, a student athlete may not participate on any outside team in any non-collegiate amateur competition. Some exceptions that may be available are participating in intramurals, competition outside declared playing and practice season during any official vacation period, and individual unattached competition while not wearing a Weber State uniform, not receiving expenses from Weber State, and not receiving instruction from your coach. If you competed on an outside team this past summer, your participation must stop when your team's practice begins.
All right, Megan. Teach me everything I need to know about playing and practice seasons.
When your team is in season, student athletes cannot participate in required practice for more than 20 hours in a week and not more than 4 hours in a day. Competition days count as 3 hours regardless of how long the competition takes, and coaches are required to provide 1 day off per week. When teams are out of season, the rules change. Student athletes cannot practice more than 8 hours a week. In all sports except football, no more than 4 of these hours may be devoted to skill instruction, and the rest of the hours must be spent doing strength and conditioning activities. In football, skill instruction is not permitted, but you are permitted to do up to 2 hours of film review each week. When you are out of season, coaches must also provide 2 days off per week. This table shows which kinds of activities are countable and which kinds are not. Coaches are required to report your weekly hours to compliance. You have the chance to verify CARA logs through Jump Forward, so make sure you are checking your emails. Your coaches cannot see the responses to the logs submitted, and verifying logs is the only way we can verify you are not exceeding the daily and weekly hour limitations.
What did you learn about outside competition and playing and practice seasons?
I learned that I can only compete with outside teams in very limited circumstances, and only if my coach lets me at all. And I also learned that I'll be sent practice logs through Jump Forward, where I can approve or disapprove if those practice logs are true to our actual practice schedule or not.
What do you think about your upcoming golf tryout?
Golf is fun and really easy. And I'll just be putting indoors at first, so there won't be any wind. And anyone can golf, right?
Are you checking for the wind? We're inside. caught that on camera, man.
There's definitely wind in here. I hear an air conditioner.
Are you on the golf team?
No, I didn't make it. To be honest, this is kind of getting a little embarrassing.
All right, Will, I'm back. Teach me everything I need to know about extra benefits.
As a student athlete, you cannot accept anything that is not available to the general student body or the general public. Extra benefit rules apply to yourself as well as your friends and family. Some examples of extra benefits include free or reduced cost transportation, lodging, training expenses, food, clothing, and financial loans. As a simple rule of thumb, you cannot accept any discount that is not available to the general public. As a student athlete at Weber State, you may receive complimentary admissions for games in which you participate. These tickets are for your family and friends. It is impermissible for you to sell or receive an item of value for a spot on the pass list. This rule applies to you as well as your guests. It's not all bad news though. The NCAA does allow you to accept benefits that are not available to all Weber State students or to the general public. These benefits include academic expenses, career development resources, health care, travel while representing Weber State, including frequent flyer miles or rewards points for those trips, as well as meals and snacks.
What can you tell me about extra benefits?
Basically, I learned that there are things that I can accept from being a student athlete, and there are things I cannot. If I accept those things that are impermissible, then my eligibility might be taken away.
How are you feeling about your basketball tryout?
I played a lot of basketball in my life. I'm basically a cross between Zion Williamson and Damian Lillard, so I've been told.
Game time. Oh.
Did you make the basketball team?
No, I didn't. I would have shot better if there wasn't so much wind.
Is the wind why you looked like you were shooting like Ben Simmons?
Too soon.
All right, Dale, I'm back. Teach me everything I need to know about social media. Everyone has social media, but it is important to remember what is permissible and impermissible to post. First, use common sense. Assume all posts are public, and don't post anything you would not want your family to see. The NCAA prohibits posting information about injuries and PSA recruitment. Student athletes cannot publicize a prospect's recruitment, visit to a campus, or their commitment to Weber State University.
What did you learn about social media?
I learned that I am not allowed to post about recruiting, and also I shouldn't be posting anything that I would not want my mother to see.
Are you nervous about your softball tryout since it's the last one you have?
Absolutely not. I got this. Like I said before, I was a great baseball player. I have a cannon for an arm, and I can hit dingers, just like Big Al.
Hi, my name's Alfred D'Elia. At home they call me Big Al, and I hit dingers.
Did you make the softball team?
There's my name. I made it.
Are you crying?
No, it's allergies.
All right, Trevor, I'm back. Teach me everything I'm supposed to know about sports wagering.
The NCAA prohibits student athletes and staff members from engaging in sports wagering. Violations occur when you agree to give up an item of value for a chance to win an item of value. This most commonly includes money, but can also include betting things like meals, clothing, etc. The NCAA's prohibition on sports wagering applies on any level of any sport which the NCAA conducts a championship. This includes high school, college, and professional events. Engaging in sports wagering activities will make you ineligible immediately. Some examples of impermissible betting can include fantasy leagues, Super Bowl pools, and NCAA tournament pools. If a student athlete is caught point shaving or gambling on Weber State athletic events, you are permanently ineligible in all sports. Sports wagering is one of the quickest ways to lose your eligibility. Please note the recent change to laws regarding sports wagering have not affected the NCAA's ban on sports wagering. For example, if you know the New York Giants are going to win the Super Bowl next year, you still can't place a futures bet on that. It is impermissible. Remember to be smart on what you do with your free time, and always remember, don't bet on it. So what can you tell me about sports wagering?
I learned that I cannot bet on any sport that the NCAA sponsors.
So you can bet on pickleball?
Yes, you can, because the NCAA does not sponsor pickleball.
Well, I bet you there's gnome that I can beat you at pickleball.
Bring it. You're on.
All right. 10-1-2. Game point for the gnome. Let's go.
Thank you for joining me, Christopher Compliance, on my journey. I made the softball team, proved that I'm great at pickleball, learned a lot about compliance, and I won this gnome. Good luck to all the other student athletes this year. Christopher Compliance, out.
Oh crap. I didn't mean to make. Oh no! So that is the brief instruction to the rules of the NCAA, the Big Sky Conference, and Weber State University. I hope you learned a thing or two that will help you make your transition here much more successful. As always, our staff is here to assist you. You can stop by and see Will Pridemore, Dale Brown, and Trevor Zellweger, our compliance staff, anytime, or feel free to come by my office located on the second floor of Stewart Stadium. I'm wishing you the best for a great year. Be safe, be a good representative of Weber State University, and please enjoy yourself this year. Go Wildcats!